Hello and welcome to all you Virgos. Welcome you Virgos for your monthly horoscope for August 2016. And for some of you, happy birthday! Happy birthday for those who have a birthday in August. And what a month this is. It is a good month for Virgos in general because there's a lot of energy in your sign. So I'm going to be talking about two big things. Of course, September is the biggest time for you because there are going to be eclipses in your sign. And August, I wanted actually to do a video with August and September, but I know some of you wouldn't like that. So because the energies are very much together in August and in September. And it's all about you, Virgo. It's all about you. And I know normally a Virgo is very humble and doesn't want to be in the spotlight. But now you are. And embrace that. That's my first, you could say, my first advice. Embrace that it's all about you. And why is that? Because there's a lot of energy in the mutable signs, and you are one of them. And there is some harsh energy, but that you can apply at its best. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then there is all this energy in your sign. But let's start with this energy of Mars and Saturn in your fourth house. So I always talk, since I've been doing these videos, I always talk about fixed stars and when they are important. And the fixed star Antares is very important now. Why? I will be talking about that in September as well. Because at 9 degrees, you have the fixed star Antares and in Sagittarius. And Mars and Saturn are going to conjunct in that particular point in your fourth house. Now, Antares is, it is associated with endings. It is associated with endings, and it's not, you could say, the most positive fixed star. But of course, as an astrologer, you know that people also have free will and that you can try to use it at its best. And at its best, it's courage. And it is associated with the military as well and with war. But having Mars there, also the planet of war, you could say, and having Saturn there in your fourth house could mean two things for you Virgos. So, worst case scenario, and this is the scenario that is not to pick as an advice. And then I'm going to give you best case scenario. So worst case scenario would be that you're going to have some ego struggles, frustration, irritation with people that are in your midst at home. Could be relatives, but your family, because that's what the fourth house is all about. It could also be quarrels at home, discussions at home, fights at home. So that you don't want. Okay, how can you turn that around? You can turn this energy around as best as you can, of course, by applying it at its most positive form. And what is that? Well, having Mars and Saturn there in your fourth house at its best is super, super focus. So, Virgos are good at that because Virgos know that when we focus, we get practical about something, less is more, in other words, you can get somewhere. So use this energy, for instance, if there needs to be fixed something on the house, you know, maybe there are some leakages or whatever, put your focus there, your energy there. I know it is frustrating. I mean, not everyone likes to just rebuild something or fix something, but you Virgos, you know, to be useful. So use that energy to do that. Or maybe it is just simply hard work at home. And her work that maybe you are working from home during this month, or maybe you are using this energy in a very focused way to improve your home, but it takes time, and improving your work as well. But again, it takes time. So Saturn is the master and Mars is the energy. So it's about mastering your energies at home. So I've seen this quite a lot when people have Mars or Saturn or both in the fourth house, that when they apply this in a good way, as I said, in the most positive way, you know, they can they get the fruits from that for years and years and years. The same, so it's a good energy to work solitude, or how do you say that? To work alone, if you can, of course, on a certain project that has to do with home. So it's certainly not a bad energy, not even withstanding the fact it's Antares. We have to, these fixed stars and so on. Of course, on a world collective level, we see, you only have to read the papers to know what Mars and Saturn is all about when they're together. But we are here talking on an individual level. So, and we can have control over our own actions, and very much for the Virgos because it's in their fourth house, which is their core. So their emotional, it can also be a moment of emotional supporting yourself. So finding emotional support not through others, but through yourself and through your own actions. So that can be a bit harsh because you've got the feeling that you have to do it all by yourself, but it can be quite interesting because afterwards you feel that you have matured, notwithstanding the fact you're 50 or 60, it doesn't matter. So that's one thing. Another thing, so and because it's on that fixed star Antares, it could mean as well that because this energy was there already in March, April and May, March, April. So think about March, April, May. Was there something that you fixed or tried to fix and it didn't work? Now this Antares star can mean that it's ending and you're doing that last bit. And sometimes that last bit is the most difficult to do. So that was what this is all about. Now the good stuff. The good stuff for your Virgos is definitely having so many planets in your first house, which is the Sun at the very end of the month, but also Mercury, your ruling planet in your sign. It's Venus there as well. And don't forget, Jupiter. So all these positive planets in your sign makes you very attractive, more charming than you are even. And of course, Virgo is a humble sign. Unless you have your sun sign, for instance, squashed between Pluto and Uranus or other things. But normally Virgo is a very humble sign. So it's through your humbleness and through your gentleness that people are going to be very attracted to you and wanting to work with you or want to be around you. So prepare yourself for that. So it's good for negotiations, for contracts, for getting things your way, if you like, and you don't have to do that much of an effort. Now, all these planets that I talked about, like the Sun and Venus and Mercury, especially Mercury and Venus, are going also around the middle of the month. They are going to touch the Saturn-Neptune square. So the Saturn-Neptune square is all about insecurity. It's all about, yes, it's working. No, it's not working. Yes, the one week you think, yeah, we're getting there. The next week you think we're not getting there. It's all that insecurity. But this is ending. This is ending energy. So in September, that Saturn-Neptune is finished. So hold on to it. So when you feel a bit around, especially around the middle of the month, so because then those planets like Venus and Mercury are going to pass through Neptune and then Saturn. So when you're a bit insecure about yourself during that time, don't get depressed about that, because at the very end of the month, it's showtime. It's your time, especially for those Virgos who's got planets between 20 and 30 degrees of Virgo, because you've got Venus and Jupiter conjunct each other. I think it's the 27th. So do something nice. Do something for yourself. Go to, go on a what is the name? On an, how do you call that? Not a resort, but where you can have nice dinner, a nice bit of swimming, a nice bit of relaxing. You know what I mean. Enjoy yourself. That's what I try to tell you there. So, and you will have the opportunity to do so. And Jupiter, especially for those late-born Virgos, they're going to have Jupiter on their sun sign or their ascendant. So enjoy it, because I think the last week of the month is going to be very, very beautiful for you. And At the very end of the month, your ruler stands still and goes retrograde, and then the next month you've got the eclipses. So it's not over yet, this change that is about to come for you. So and Mercury retrograde in your sign, but this is at the very end of the month, means that you're going to think about how you're going to profile yourself in the future even better. Now, a last thing but not least that I want to mention is that when these Venus and Mercury planets are going through your sign, which is wonderful, they form an antician point in Aries with Uranus. Now, what is this all about? Virgo and Aries are they understand each other very well behind the scenes. Why? Because they're each other's antician. Maybe you have noticed already that you can get along quite well with Aries people. And that is in your 8th house of transformation. Now, what is an antician point? So if you have, for instance, a planet on 2 degrees of Virgo, the antician of that is always in Aries, but it's 30 degrees minus those 2 degrees, which is 28 degrees of Aries. Now, what's there around that at the very end of Aries? Uranus. So when planets shift into the beginning of Virgo, which is the case during August, they are going to meet in antician, which means in secret, Uranus. So this means something very important. This means that, notwithstanding the fact you can be a bit insecure about yourself, about others, about relationships, about your home life, about your work, notwithstanding the fact it's all very exciting, and there is new stuff coming up for you Virgos. But have patience, because the big month for you is going to be September. Having said that, wish you all the best, you dear Virgos, and see you next month. Bye bye.